Welcome everyone to the Devar Torah for Parsha Chukat, brought to you by Be There Israel and Or Chadash. This week's Parsha Chukat is one of the most mysterious and paradoxical of the whole Torah. The name itself tells it, Zot Chukat Torah. This is the Chukat. Chukat means a type of law which is either seemingly illogical or beyond rational thought, or that we do not know the ultimate reason for it. Which is true of all the mitzvot in a sense, but a chok is something that supersedes normative logic. And the parsha begins with the law of the paraduma, of how to purify someone from the impurity of death. And this ritual contains a great paradox, that those who are preparing the ingredients to purify others, they themselves become impure. And this is considered the paradox of the Torah. We're going to come back to this, and now we're going to jump ahead. There are many, many paradoxical things that happen in this parsha. And it all has to do with what's called the mystery of life and death. Miriam passes away. Aharon passes away. Moshe hits the rock, and because of that is not allowed to come into Eretz Yisrael. Many mysterious happenings are going on. We're bitten by burning snakes, and the antidote is to make a snake and put it on a staff and have the people stare at it. Again, very, very paradoxical. But then we have, later on, Israel is attacked by its enemies, but it doesn't know that it was attacked. What happens is there's an attack, but a miracle occurs, and the enemy is routed without Israel even knowing that they were under attack. And then water welled up, and they saw the bodies and blood of the enemies, and only then did they realize that they had been saved by a miracle. In response, Israel sings a song. It's a very, very short song, but it's significant because it's one of the 10 archetypal songs sung throughout history. Now, we all know that there have been millions of songs composed and sung, maybe tens of millions over the ages in different societies. But here we're told in Jewish history, there are 10 archetypal songs, and this is one of them. So I'm just going to read in English what it says. It says, "Then Israel sang this song, 'Come up, O well, call out to it. Well that the princes dug, that the nobles of the people excavated. Through a lawgiver with their staffs, a gift from the wilderness.'" That's the whole song. But it obviously it has great significance because all of Israel sang this song in appreciation for there being water. According to tradition, when Miriam passed away, the mysterious well of water that accompanied us in the desert disappeared. And that's why Moshe was called upon to bring water from a rock, because they had no more water. So we see something here that goes along with the paradoxes of the Parsha very, very, very well. And this is without going into the very, very complicated explanations and very profound insight into what actually happened. Why did Moshe hit the rock? Why was the punishment so severe? But what we see here is something very interesting. Moshe was given that name by the daughter of Paro because it means min hamayim mishitihu. From the water I drew him out. That is Moshe's name. It's not actually a Hebrew name. It was given to him by Bat Paro, and it's connected with water. That the daughter of Paro drew him out of the water. The astrologers of Egypt told Paro to drown all of the Jewish boys because they saw in prophecy that the Redeemer of Israel would be judged through water. So they felt and they saw that the Redeemer was about to be born, and they saw correctly. But what they were seeing is Moshe being judged for hitting the water and not being able to come into Israel. But they thought it meant that if we drown all the boys, he'll also be drowned, and we'll get rid of the Redeemer that way. So Moshe's whole being is connected with water. He's saved through water, and yet he's not allowed to come into Eretz Yisrael through water. And in the middle, he split the water when we crossed the sea. So Moshe's whole life is very connected to water. He met Zipporah at the well. Now we see something in Jewish law that's very interesting about water and very paradoxical. We know that the way that we purify ourselves is through water, by going to the mikveh. This is the classic way that we become clean, we become cleansed, purified, is through water. And yet paradoxically, water has the power to make something impure. That's why at the Seder of Pesach, we wash before we dip the vegetable in salt water. Because by dipping, the water can transmit impurity. So here you have water. On one hand, it transmits impurity. On the other hand, it's the vehicle for us to purify ourselves. So this fits into the Parsha perfectly, because the whole Parsha is about paradox. How is it that the paraduma makes those that are preparing the ingredients that everyone else will become purified from death, they themselves become impure? So this idea of paradox is a very, very important and cardinal understanding of Judaism in its entirety. The Western normative logic balks at paradox. If you tell me this is true and this is true, and they're mutually exclusive, then normative logic will say, okay, so then which one is right? If they're mutually exclusive, you can't tell me they're both right. Judaism has a saying that says, Elu ve'elu divrei Elokim chaim. These and these are the words of the living God. In other words, not only are we not afraid of paradox, but in a sense, Judaism embraces paradox. I learned a very important teaching from Rabbi Ginsburg, who said like this. He said, one would think as one learns more, becomes more spiritual, becomes more holy, that our our understanding of God and life and existence would become clear, less philosophical problems. He said it's just the opposite. The more Torah we learn, the more paradoxical we realize everything is. And what's the reason for that? Because it's revealed in Kabbalah in many, many different ways that the closer we get to the essence of God, the closer we get to paradox. But not paradox in the scary sense, like, I don't understand. How can this and this both be true? It's more in the sense that, like heaven is made from the words mayim and eish. The shin of shemayim is fire, the mayim is water. Here on earth, fire and water seem mutually exclusive. They put out each other. But in heaven, they coexist perfectly. And so this parsha is the parsha of paradox. And it behooves us to learn this parsha very, very deeply and to contemplate this mystery called paradox. Thanks for watching this Devar Torah. If you like what you heard, which I hope you did, please come to our YouTube station, our website, our Facebook, our blog, our Twitter, and take advantage of a plethora of Torah, of audio classes, videos, poetry, stories, music, word and gematria search. You'll find a lot there, and please share this with your friends. www.thetrugmans.com